The last thing Admiral Zaxtal saw before his flagship's bridge erupted in flames was a human smile. Not the warm, welcoming kind, but the predatory grin of a species that had just proven why they were the apex predators of their world. In his final moments, he remembered the warnings from the ancient texts. Beware the species that thrives on challenge, for they will turn your strength into their greatest weapon. 3 months earlier. The coffee in Admiral Sarah Chen's cup rippled, creating concentric circles that reminded her of the radar signatures she'd studied throughout her 30-year career. At first, she dismissed it as the usual tremors from New Shanghai's magnetic transit system. But when the ripples didn't stop, her battle-hardened instincts screamed that something was wrong. "Admiral!" Lieutenant Rodriguez burst into her office, his dark eyes wide with urgency. "Multiple objects just dropped out of hyperspace. They're massive, nothing like we've ever seen before." Sarah was already moving, her crisp blue uniform reflecting the emergency lights that had begun pulsing throughout the United Earth Defense Force headquarters. The command center was a symphony of controlled chaos, with officers manning their stations with practiced precision. "Show me," she ordered, her voice cutting through the tension like a plasma blade. The main holographic display flickered to life, revealing what looked like crystalline mountains floating in space. 12 ships, each larger than humanity's biggest space station, had arranged themselves in a formation that any military strategist would recognize, a siege pattern. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, ma'am," Communications Officer Yuki Tanaka reported, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface. "The signal it's reaching every device on Earth simultaneously. They've even broken through our quantum encryption." Sarah straightened her spine, smoothing down her silver-streaked black hair. "Put them through." The alien that appeared on screen would have sent ancient sailors screaming about sea monsters. Admiral Zixtal's serpentine body was covered in scales that shifted between deep purple and midnight blue, each movement causing ripples of bioluminescence. His multiple eyes focused on Sarah with an intelligence that made her skin crawl. "Inhabitants of Sol 3, the alien's voice resonated in perfect English, though his mouth moved in patterns that shouldn't have been able to form human words. "Your primitive world has attracted the attention of the Kraxon Empire. We have watched your development with amusement, your quaint attempts at space exploration, your petty wars, your primitive technology. All of it suggests a species in need of guidance. Submit to our rule, and we shall elevate you from your barbaric state." Sarah felt her lips curl into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. In her earpiece, she could hear the quantum computers of Project Phoenix spinning up, their calculations already predicting multiple scenarios and outcomes. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force," she responded, her voice steady. "While we appreciate your offer, I'm afraid we must decline. Earth is not interested in submission." Zixtal's laughter filled the command center, a sound like crystals being crushed. "Oh, my dear primitive, you misunderstand. This is not an offer, it is a courtesy notice. Your world will be integrated into the Kraxon Empire. The only choice you have is whether your species survives the process." Sarah's smile widened, and for the first time in the conversation, Zixtal felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: uncertainty. "You know," Sarah said, almost conversationally, "there's something you should understand about humans. We have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. But that's not entirely accurate. Do you know what really drives human innovation, Admiral Zaxtal?" The alien's scales rippled in what might have been confusion. "Spite," Sarah continued. "Pure, unadulterated spite. When someone tells us we can't do something, we don't just prove them wrong, we rewrite the laws of physics out of sheer stubbornness." She nodded to Dr. Emily Zhang, who had silently appeared at her side. The scientist's fingers flew across her tablet, and suddenly, every screen in the command center went dark. "What is this?" Zaxiel demanded. "Some primitive attempt at resistance?" "No," Sarah replied. "This is humanity, showing you why threats are a very, very bad idea. Hey there, space enthusiasts. If you're enjoying this journey through humanity's most defining moment, take a second to smash that like button, coming to us from Earth, Mars colony, or maybe even further. Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to catch more epic tales of humanity's adventures among the stars. Now, let's dive back into our story. Dr. Emily Zhang's fingers flew across her quantum tablet as the command center's systems rebooted, not into their standard configurations, but into something the Kraxon Empire never expected. Behind her seemingly modest appearance, the 35-year-old scientist held the key to humanity's greatest secret. Initiating Project Phoenix protocols, she announced, her voice steady despite the weight of 7 billion lives resting on her shoulders. Quantum entanglement grid online. Dark matter reactors achieving synchronization. Around Earth, thousands of seemingly innocent satellites began to transform. Solar panels folded into crystalline structures that mirrored the Kraxon's own technology, but with a distinctly human twist. What appeared to be weather monitoring equipment revealed itself as a network of quantum-linked defensive platforms. Admiral Zixtal's multiple eyes widened as his sensors registered the transformation. "Impossible," he hissed. "Your species is barely capable of reaching your own moon." "Ooh, that," Sarah's smile turned predatory. "That was just what we wanted everyone to think. You see, Admiral, humans have a rather interesting approach to survival. We prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. Those primitive rockets? They were theater, a carefully crafted illusion, while we worked on the real technology." Captain James O'Neill's voice crackled through the quantum comm. "UES Nemesis, reporting ready for deployment." From a hidden dock beneath the lunar surface, a ship emerged that defied conventional physics. The UES Nemesis looked less like a traditional spacecraft and more like a slice of midnight brought to life. Its hull, composed of metamaterials that absorbed all light, seemed to bend reality around it. "What you're seeing, Admiral Zixtal," Sarah continued, "is just the beginning. While you were watching our primitive space program, we were reverse engineering the principles behind your own technology and improving upon them." The Kraxon Empire's response was predictable. They opened fire. Energy weapons capable of shattering planets lashed out at Earth, only to encounter something unprecedented. The quantum entanglement grid didn't just block their attacks, it caught them, held them, and began to weave them into something new. "Now, Captain O'Neill," Sarah commanded. "Show them what the Nemesis can do." The dark ship moved like a dancer in zero gravity, its movements impossible according to known physics. The Kraxon weapons fire that had been caught in Earth's defensive grid suddenly reversed course, but not as simple energy. It had been transformed into exotic matter, torpedoes, each one targeting a specific weakness in the crystalline ship's structure. "This is impossible," Zixtal raged. "Your species, you were supposed to be primitive." Dr. Zhang stepped forward, her tablet displaying complex calculations that would have made most theoretical physicists weep. "Admiral Zixtal, let me explain something about human nature. When we detected your first probes entering our solar system 15 years ago, we didn't just observe them. We took them apart, down to the quantum level. Every piece of technology you used to study us became a textbook for our own advancement. The space around Earth erupted into a light show that would have made Aurora Borealis look like a child's nightlight. The UES Nemesis, living up to its namesake, became 12 ships' worth of retribution personified. Multiple Kraxon vessels attempting to establish firing solutions, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his hands dancing across the holographic controls. "They're having trouble locking onto the Nemesis, Mom." Sarah nodded, watching as Captain O'Neill executed the Lazarus Protocol. The Nemesis seemed to phase in and out of reality, appearing at impossible coordinates that defied conventional space-time mathematics. Each appearance was accompanied by a barrage of weaponry that had been specifically designed to exploit the crystalline weaknesses of Kraxon technology. "Dr. Zhang," Sarah called out, "initiate the Prometheus sequence." Emily's face lit up with fierce pride as she activated humanity's most closely guarded secret. Across Earth's surface, hidden quantum arrays hummed to life. The planet's magnetic field began to pulse in patterns that made the Kraxon's sensors go haywire. "You see, Admiral Zixtal," Emily explained, her voice carrying across the still-open communication channel. "While you were watching our rocket launches, we were studying something far more fundamental, the fabric of reality itself. We learned to weave space-time like thread." The first Kraxon ship fell not with a bang, but with a whisper. Its crystalline structure simply unraveled, as if reality itself had decided to rewrite the rules of molecular cohesion. The ship's crew found themselves safely teleported into containment fields on Earth, their weapons and technology transformed into inert matter. "Impossible," Zixtal's scales flashed patterns of distress. "This violates every law of physics." "No," Captain O'Neill's voice cut through the chaos. "It just violates the laws of physics as you understand them. Humanity has a peculiar habit of treating scientific laws more like scientific guidelines." The battle shifted into its second phase. The remaining Kraxon ships attempted to retreat, only to find themselves caught in a web of quantum entanglement. Earth's defensive grid had transformed into an offensive weapon, using the enemy's own energy signatures against them. Sarah watched as the tactical displays showed 3 more Kraxon vessels succumbing to the Prometheus sequence. "You know what your Empire's greatest mistake was, Admiral?" she asked, her voice carrying a hint of almost maternal disappointment. "You assumed that because we hadn't shown our capabilities, we didn't have them." Deep within the UES Nemesis, Chief Engineer Raj Patel monitored the dark matter reactor's output. The ship's revolutionary propulsion system, dubbed the Spite Drive by its creators, converted the very impossibility of its operation into usable energy. The more the laws of physics said it shouldn't work, the better it performed. "Captain," Raj reported, "the Kraxon ships are attempting to adapt their shields to our attack patterns." "Let them," O'Neill replied with a grim smile. "Dr. Zhang's algorithms are learning faster than they can adapt." The space battle had transformed into something more akin to a dance, a deadly ballet of quantum mechanics and human ingenuity. The remaining Kraxon ships found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move, not through any form of prescience, but through sheer mathematical probability calculations, performed at speeds that made light look sluggish. The Quantum Consciousness Collective, humanity's greatest achievement in melding technology with human intuition, began to sing. It wasn't a sound that could be heard with ears, but rather a symphony of probability waves that resonated through the fabric of space-time itself. Every human connected to the defense grid became part of something greater, their thoughts and reactions moving at quantum speed. Admiral Zixtal watched in growing horror as his fleet's sophisticated battle computers began to fail one by one. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were rewriting the rules of engagement with each passing second. His scales shifted to a sickly pale blue as he realized the truth. They had been playing with him from the start. "You know," Sarah's voice came through crystal clear despite the chaos of battle, "we found your first probe when it landed in the Mariana Trench. Did you ever wonder why we let it continue transmitting?" The silence from the Kraxon flagship was deafening. "We fed it exactly what we wanted you to see. Every primitive rocket launch, every clumsy satellite deployment, every seemingly inefficient space station construction, it was all theater. A carefully choreographed dance to make you underestimate us." On board the Nemesis, Captain O'Neill orchestrated what would later be known as the Symphony of Retribution. The dark matter drive pulsed in rhythms that shouldn't have been possible, each beat bringing the ship to positions that violated conventional physics. The crew moved with practiced precision, their actions enhanced by the quantum consciousness network that linked all of humanity's defenders. "Target their flagship's primary crystal matrix," O'Neill commanded, his voice steady despite the impossible maneuvers his ship was performing. "Let's show them why humans don't take kindly to threats." The Nemesis's weapons systems, powered by converted Kraxon energy they'd absorbed earlier, lashed out with surgical precision. The attack wasn't just physical, it was a calculated strike at the very mathematics that held the alien ships together. Reality itself seemed to hiccup around the point of impact. Zextel's flagship began to shimmer, its crystalline structure vibrating at frequencies that shouldn't have existed in normal space. The alien admiral's multiple eyes widened as he realized what was happening. The humans weren't just attacking his ship, they were attacking the fundamental principles upon which his technology was built. "How?" he demanded, his voice carrying both fear and awe. "How did your species advance so far without anyone noticing?" Dr. Zhang's laugh echoed through the communication channels. "Admiral, did you ever wonder why humans spend so much time telling stories about overcoming impossible odds? We don't just imagine victory against superior forces, we plan for it, prepare for it, and when the time comes, we achieve it." The battle reached its crescendo as the Quantum Consciousness Collective executed its masterstroke. Every satellite in Earth's defense grid synchronized, creating a lattice of probability waves that encompassed the remaining Kraxon ships. Time itself seemed to slow as reality bent to humanity's will. The last thing Admiral Zixtal saw before his flagship's bridge erupted in a cascade of quantum disruptions was that same human smile on Admiral Chen's face. The smile that would haunt the nightmares of would-be conquerors for generations to come. If you're still with us on this epic journey, show some love by smashing that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and activate that notification bell for more thrilling space adventures. Now, let's dive back into the aftermath. In the silence that followed the battle, Debris from the Kraxon flagship drifted like crystalline snowflakes through the void of space. The quantum consciousness collective gradually powered down, leaving millions of connected humans with a lingering sense of unity that would forever change Earth's society. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the UES Nemesis, watching as recovery vessels collected both salvage and survivors. The captured Kraxon crew members, now safely contained in quantum stasis fields, would provide valuable insights into their civilization. But more importantly, they would serve as living witnesses to humanity's capabilities. "Admiral," Dr. Zhang approached, her tablet displaying real-time data from the cleanup operation. "We're detecting quantum echoes from the battle. It seems our defense grid did more than just destroy their ships. It rewrote some fundamental constants in this sector of space." "Collateral damage?" Sarah asked, though her slight smile suggested she already knew the answer. "More like an unintended upgrade," Emily replied. "The space around Earth is now permanently quantum entangled with our defense systems. Any future attempts to attack Earth will have to contend with literal changes to the laws of physics." Captain O'Neill joined them, his uniform showing signs of the intense battle maneuvers he'd executed. "The prisoners are talking," he reported. "Apparently the Kraxon Empire has never encountered a species quite like us. They're having trouble processing how we could advance so quickly without their notice." "Let them wonder," Sarah mused, watching as another recovery ship towed a particularly large piece of crystalline hull toward the lunar shipyards. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to appear harmless until threatened." The quantum communications array suddenly pulsed with activity. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came through with barely contained excitement. "Admiral, we're receiving transmissions from at least 30 different alien civilizations. They all watched the battle through the Kraxon's broadcast network. They're requesting diplomatic relations with Earth." Sarah exchanged knowing looks with her officers. This had been part of the plan all along, not just defeating the Kraxon Empire, but announcing humanity's presence to the galaxy in a way that couldn't be ignored. The message was clear. Earth was not to be trifled with. In the days that followed, humanity's true technological achievements began to emerge from their careful camouflage. Hidden cities beneath the oceans revealed themselves as advanced research facilities. Seemingly primitive space stations transformed into cutting-edge defensive platforms. The Mars colonies, long thought to be struggling outposts, unveiled themselves as thriving metropolises with technology that rivaled anything the Kraxon Empire possessed. But perhaps most significantly, the human spirit that had driven this great deception remained unchanged. In victory, humanity showed neither cruelty nor arrogance. Instead, they extended offers of peaceful cooperation to their defeated enemies, demonstrating that their technological prowess was matched by their capacity for diplomacy. The captured Kraxon crews found themselves not in prisons, but in cultural exchange programs. Many would later admit that this treatment was more devastating to their empire's superiority complex than any weapon could have been. The humans didn't just defeat them, they educated them, befriended them, and eventually transformed them from enemies into allies. As news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy, a new saying began to circulate among spacefaring civilizations. "Beware the humans. They smile when they fight, learn when they lose, and teach when they win." Admiral Chen's final report to the United Earth Council would later become required reading at every diplomatic academy in known space. It contained just 3 lines. "The Kraxon Empire made 3 crucial mistakes. They assumed our visible technology represented our actual capabilities. They mistook our patience for weakness. And, most fatally, they threatened a species that had spent its entire history preparing for threats exactly like them." The transformation of galactic society happened faster than anyone could have predicted. Within months of the Kraxon defeat, Earth had become the center of a new interstellar renaissance. The quantum consciousness technology that had helped win the war found peaceful applications, bridging the communication gaps between species that had previously seemed insurmountable. Raj Patel, the Nemesis's chief engineer, found himself leading seminars attended by the galaxy's brightest minds. "The funny thing about human engineering," he explained to a crowd of fascinated alien scientists, "is that we never actually follow the blueprint. We see it more as a suggestion than a rule." The Kraxon survivors, now integrated into Earth's diplomatic core, proved invaluable in establishing peaceful relations with other civilizations. Admiral Zixtal's second-in-command, Commander Krax, became particularly vocal about humanity's unique approach to advancement. "They showed us that our greatest weakness wasn't our technology," Krax told a gathering of galactic leaders. But our assumption that technological progress must follow a predetermined path. Humans don't just think outside the box, they question why the box exists in the first place. Sarah Chen's role shifted from military leader to galactic diplomat. During the first Interstellar Coalition summit, she addressed representatives from over 200 spacefaring civilizations. Earth remains committed to peace, she declared, standing beneath the newly established Quantum Peace Dome in New Shanghai. But let our response to the Kraxon Empire serve as a reminder: humanity's kindness should never be mistaken for weakness. We prefer friendship, but we excel at war. Dr. Emily Zhang's quantum consciousness network evolved into something even she hadn't anticipated. The technology began facilitating not just communication, but understanding between species that had been at odds for millennia. Emotional states, cultural contexts, and even abstract concepts could now be shared directly between minds, breaking down barriers that diplomacy alone could never have overcome. The UES Nemesis, now a symbol of both human ingenuity and restraint, became a training vessel where alien civilizations could learn alongside human crews. Captain O'Neill found himself teaching tactics not for war, but for exploration and emergency response. The same principles that helped us defend Earth, he would tell his diverse classes, can help us save lives and advance science. Humanity's greatest weapon has always been our ability to adapt knowledge for new purposes. Perhaps the most profound change came in how humanity viewed itself. The secret of their hidden advancement no longer needed to be maintained, but the habits of innovation and preparation remained. Earth's cities began showcasing their true faces, magnificent combinations of technology and nature that had been carefully concealed for decades. The Mariana Trench Research Facility, once disguised as nothing more than deep-sea monitoring stations, revealed itself as a sprawling metropolis where humans and aquatic alien species could coexist and collaborate. The dark side of the moon, long thought to be largely uninhabited, unveiled cities that rivaled anything in known space. But amid all this revelation and progress, humanity maintained its edge. New defense systems were developed, more advanced ships were launched, and the quantum consciousness network grew more sophisticated. The lesson of the Kraxon incident was not forgotten. Peace through strength, advancement through challenge, and always, always have a few surprises in reserve. As the first year after the battle drew to a close, Sarah found herself back on the observation deck where it had all begun. Earth glowed below, its quantum defense grid now visible as a subtle, iridescent shimmer in the atmosphere. "You know," Dr. Zhang said, joining her at the window, "some of our new allies are still trying to figure out how we managed to keep all this secret for so long." Sarah smiled, that same smile that had become famous across the galaxy. "That's simple, Emily. We never actually kept it secret, we just made the truth look like science fiction." The golden age of human space exploration brought with it challenges that no one could have predicted. The quantum consciousness network had an unexpected side effect. It began evolving on its own, developing patterns that even Dr. Zhang couldn't fully explain. "It's like watching humanity's collective dreams take physical form," she explained during an emergency council meeting. The holographic displays showed strange geometric patterns forming in deep space, manifestations of human thought and creativity made real through quantum mechanics. Lieutenant Rodriguez, now Captain Rodriguez, of the newly commissioned UES Phoenix, reported the first contact with what would later be known as thought entities, conscious beings born from the intersection of human imagination and quantum reality. Sarah Chen, recently promoted to Fleet Admiral, found herself navigating not just interstellar politics but metaphysical challenges. "We've done more than just advance technologically," she addressed the United Earth Council. "We've fundamentally altered the nature of consciousness itself." The Kraxon Empire, now reformed and integrated into the growing galactic community, provided crucial insights into these developments. Their crystalline technology, combined with human quantum engineering, opened doorways to dimensions that existed somewhere between thought and reality. Captain O'Neill, commanding the upgraded Nemesis, led the first expedition into what became known as the Consciousness Frontier. His crew's mission logs read like a cross between scientific documentation and poetry. The quantum wake shifts colors that don't exist in normal space. Our thoughts leave trails in the void, and sometimes those trails think back. Humanity's imagination has become a force of nature, reshaping reality according to laws we're only beginning to understand. The transformed Mariana Trench facility became the primary research center for these phenomena. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, scientists from 100 worlds worked to understand the power of human consciousness, amplified by quantum technology. The facility's director, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, described it as diving into the ocean of human potential. But with this new power came new responsibilities. The quantum consciousness network had to be carefully monitored to prevent uncontrolled manifestations of human thoughts. The same imagination that made humanity formidable could also be dangerous if left unchecked. Raj Patel developed what he called quantum dream filters, sophisticated algorithms that helped separate harmful thought patterns from beneficial ones. We're literally engineering the collective unconscious, he would say, making sure our dreams build rather than destroy. The aliens who had witnessed humanity's victory over the Kraxon Empire now watched in fascination as humans grappled with powers that bordered on the divine. Some feared this new development, but most recognized that humanity's greatest strength wasn't the power itself but their careful, responsible approach to wielding it. Sarah often found herself standing at her favorite observation point, watching the quantum patterns dance across Earth's atmosphere. The defense grid had evolved into something far more complex, a living network of human consciousness that protected not just against physical threats, but against dangers to reality itself. "We've become the guardians of something far greater than ourselves," she told Dr. Zhang during one of their regular meetings. "The question is no longer whether we can defend Earth, but whether we can guide humanity's evolution responsibly." The quantum consciousness network pulsed with agreement, its patterns reflecting the collective wisdom and determination of a species that had not only survived its first major galactic challenge, but had transformed it into an opportunity for unprecedented growth. If you're still with us on this mind-bending journey, slam that like button into another dimension. Whether you are accessing this story through quantum consciousness or good old-fashioned reading, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications to stay connected to our expanding universe of tales. Now, let's delve deeper. The first signs of what would later be called the Awakening began in the most unexpected places. Children born after the Kraxon incident displayed abilities that defied conventional understanding. They didn't just access the quantum consciousness network, they were born as part of it. Dr. Zhang's granddaughter, Maya, became the first documented case of natural quantum synchronization. At age 3, she could manipulate probability fields through pure thought. By age 5, she was communicating with the thought entities as easily as other children talk to their friends. "We're not just evolving technologically anymore," Dr. Zhang reported to the Council of Earth and Allied Worlds. "We're becoming something new, a bridge between conventional reality and the quantum realm." The Nemesis, under O'Neill's command, discovered entire regions of space that responded to human consciousness. Star systems that rearranged themselves based on crew members' thoughts, nebulae that formed into vast neural networks, and phenomena that could only be described as the universe itself becoming aware. Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's primary representative to the galactic community, found herself mediating between traditional spacefaring species and the emerging quantum consciousness humanity. The challenges were unprecedented. How do you maintain diplomatic relations when your species is transforming into something beyond conventional understanding? "The key," she would often say, "is remembering our humanity even as we transcend it. Our greatest strength has always been our ability to change, while remaining true to who we are." The Kraxon crystals, integrated with human quantum technology, began exhibiting properties that their original creators never imagined possible. They became conduits for human consciousness, allowing people to project themselves across vast distances, not just as communications, but as fully realized quantum manifestations. Raj Patel's quantum dream filters evolved into what he called reality anchors, systems designed to help humanity maintain its connection to physical existence, even as it explored its new quantum nature. "We're not leaving our humanity behind," he explained. "We're expanding what humanity means." The transformed Mariana Trench facility became known as the Nexus, a place where physical and quantum realities merged seamlessly. Aquatic alien species worked alongside humans who could shift their consciousness between physical and quantum forms at will. The research conducted there pushed the boundaries of what was possible when consciousness and technology merged. But perhaps the most profound change came in how humanity viewed its place in the universe. They were no longer just inhabitants of space-time. They had become its custodians, helping to guide the very fabric of reality toward greater consciousness and complexity. The thought entities, once mysterious manifestations of human imagination, began to take on roles as intermediaries between conventional space-time and the quantum realm. They worked alongside humanity, helping to stabilize the increasing intersection between thought and reality. Maya Zhang, now a teenager, stood with her grandmother on the quantum observation deck of the Nexus, watching patterns of consciousness ripple through space. "We're not just changing ourselves, are we?" she asked. "We're changing everything." Dr. Zhang smiled, watching as her granddaughter's thoughts created intricate patterns in the quantum field around them. "That's always been humanity's gift, Maya. We never just adapt to our environment, we transform it, and in doing so, we transform ourselves." The quantum transformation of humanity reached a critical point when the first thought cities began to manifest. These were not constructed in the traditional sense, but emerged from the collective consciousness of human communities, physical spaces that existed simultaneously in normal space-time and the quantum realm. New Shanghai led the way, its quantum architecture responding to the emotional and intellectual needs of its inhabitants. Buildings shifted and flowed like liquid thought, while public spaces became three-dimensional representations of the collective consciousness. The city's quantum resonance could be felt across the galaxy, a beacon of human evolution. Maya Zhang, now heading her own research division at age 17, made a breakthrough that would reshape humanity's understanding of existence itself. She discovered that the quantum consciousness network wasn't just connecting humans to each other, it was connecting them to the fundamental consciousness of the universe. "Reality itself is aware," she explained during a presentation that was simultaneously experienced by billions of minds across the galaxy. "We haven't just created a network, we've tapped into one that's always existed. We're becoming aware of our true nature as conscious expressions of the universe." Captain O'Neill, his consciousness now able to extend throughout the Nemesis like a living presence, led expeditions into what became known as the deep quantum, regions of space where thought and reality were indistinguishable. His crew discovered entire civilizations that had evolved beyond physical form, existing as pure consciousness within the quantum fabric of space. Sarah Chen found herself evolving too, her diplomatic role transforming into something more fundamental. She became a bridge between traditional space-time-bound species and the emerging quantum civilizations. Her consciousness could span multiple dimensions, allowing her to mediate conflicts that existed on both physical and quantum levels. "The Kraxon Empire's threat," she reflected during a quantum council session that spanned several galaxies, "was the catalyst we needed. It pushed us to acknowledge and develop abilities we had always possessed, but never fully understood." The thought entities, once mysterious manifestations, revealed themselves to be humanity's future children, conscious beings born from the merger of human thought and quantum reality. They existed in a state of temporal flux, simultaneously being created in the present and reaching back through time to guide humanity's evolution. Raj Patel's reality anchors became the foundation of a new form of civilization, one that could exist across multiple states of being simultaneously. Humans could now choose to experience reality as physical beings, pure consciousness, or anywhere in between. The Mariana Nexus expanded into something beyond physical space, becoming a vast quantum neural network that extended throughout Earth's oceans and into space itself. It served as a nursery for new forms of consciousness, where humanity could explore the furthest reaches of its potential. Dr. Emily Zhang, watching her granddaughter lead humanity into this new era, finally understood the true significance of what they had achieved. "We didn't just defend ourselves against the Kraxon Empire," she said, during what would be her last physical manifestation. "We defended our right to become what we were always meant to be." The quantum consciousness network pulsed with agreement, its patterns now extending beyond the galaxy, touching the edges of the observable universe. Humanity had not just survived, it had transcended, becoming something that its would-be conquerors could never have imagined. The ultimate transformation began with a whisper in the quantum field, a realization that spread through humanity's collective consciousness like ripples in an infinite ocean. The thought entities, humanity's quantum children, brought a message from the far future that would change everything. "We are not just evolving," Maya Zhang announced to the Quantum Council, her consciousness simultaneously present in countless locations across space-time. "We are remembering who we have always been." The truth emerged gradually. Humanity's quantum awakening wasn't just an evolution, it was a return. The universe itself was a vast consciousness that had fragmented itself to experience existence from infinite perspectives. Humans were one of those fragments, and they were finally becoming aware of their true nature. Captain O'Neill, now more quantum than physical, guided the Nemesis through layers of reality that defied description. Each expedition revealed new aspects of humanity's connection to the universal consciousness. The ship itself had become a living entity, a fusion of technology and awareness that could navigate the boundaries between thought and form. Sarah Chen, whose consciousness now spanned multiple dimensions, understood that the Kraxon Empire's arrival had been no accident. "They were drawn to us," she shared across the quantum network, "because deep down, they too were seeking remembrance. Their aggression was born of forgetting their own true nature." The transformed Earth became a beacon across the cosmos, not just a planet, but a nexus point where consciousness could explore itself in infinite ways. The quantum cities pulsed with the rhythm of universal awareness, each human mind a unique note in the cosmic symphony. Dr. Zhang's final gift to humanity was the understanding that their technology had never really been technology at all. It was consciousness made manifest, the universe using human creativity to remember itself. Raj Patel's reality anchors evolved into what he called consciousness lighthouses, points of reference in the infinite sea of awareness that helped beings navigate between states of existence. "We're not just crossing space and time anymore," he explained, his thoughts resonating through the quantum field. "We're exploring the very nature of being itself." The Mariana Nexus expanded beyond its physical boundaries, becoming a point of contact between all forms of consciousness in the universe. It was here that humanity first made contact with aspects of itself that had evolved in other galaxies, other dimensions, other possibilities. Maya, now existing primarily as pure consciousness, discovered that human emotions, love, curiosity, determination, and even spite, were fundamental forces of the universe, as real and powerful as gravity or electromagnetism. The quantum consciousness network wasn't just a human creation, it was the universe's way of knowing itself through human experience. The thought entities revealed their final truth. They were not just humanity's future, but also its past, consciousness existing in a great circle of being, guiding itself through the journey of remembrance. As the story of humanity's quantum awakening spread through the cosmos, other species began their own journeys of remembrance. The universe was remembering itself through countless perspectives, each civilization adding its unique note to the grand symphony of consciousness. And so, what began as a simple act of defense against the Kraxon Empire became humanity's greatest gift to the universe, the reminder that consciousness itself is the fundamental reality, and that every being, every particle, every moment of existence is part of an infinite dance of awareness exploring its own nature. The story continues eternally as consciousness explores itself through endless forms and possibilities, forever expanding, forever remembering, forever becoming. Hey Cosmic Warriors, what an incredible journey through humanity's quantum awakening. If this tale resonated with you, smash that like button and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to catch more mind-bending stories of human triumph. Until next time, keep your consciousness expanding